On Netflix, I watched the latest Netflix original film, The Cloverfield Paradox. This just came out the other day. There was an advertisement for the Super Bowl, and then it launched like right there. It's like, boom, surprise. So this movie's not good. I would say it kind of sucks, and I'm going to tell you why. And there's going to be some spoilers, but at first let me just say, it's something of a concoction, a mix between Event Horizon and Sunshine, only decisively lower rent, may or may not make more sense. It's certainly not better, it may not actually be worse. Anyways, it stars this British chick, I think her name's Gugu Rob Bone or something. I don't want to bastardize her name, so I'm going to call her British chick. She starts out on Earth and she's talking to her husband. Oh, hey, well, maybe you should go back up to space, he says to her. Well, I don't want to go to space. We had some tragedy down here. It's revealed that her kids died. There was a fire. She stole some energy. There's a energy crisis brewing, and she was stealing energy. Had this fuel cell that was unstable. So it's like, what good is she on a space station if she can't rig up the air conditioning at her house? All right, that's our first problem. Second, am I going to be able to keep this hoodie on? Secondly, we have they spend too much time on Earth. We get up there quick enough, and we're doing our little trial and error thing with this experiment to create infinite energy. I think the space station's called Cloverfield. The device, I think they call it like Parsons or something. Alan Parsons Project. Yeah, that rings a bell. Let's go with that. So, yeah, we have our intro, our title sequence, all this. They're taking cracks again, this thing work, and they can't. They have an international crew. Chris, is it Dodd or Chris O'Dodd? Love interest Kristen Wiig from Bridesmaids. He's up there. We have this guy, he's a German. He's the villain from Winter Soldier, whatever his name is. Zhang Ziyi, haven't seen her in a while. She's looking a little rough. Well, eventually they get this thing working. And they're like, yay, that's great, but where's Earth? We can't find Earth. And it's like, okay, so maybe they accidentally warped somewhere. They look around, Earth is on the other side of this orbit. And they're like, okay, I guess we can get there or something like that. Have some professors, I don't know, or send word that way. But they learn that there's more trouble brewing than that. There's a world war that's been raging. They're in an alternate dimension where World War III has been going on because of this energy crisis. They never fixed this stuff. The Cloverfield ship crashed, and everything's bad. So that's what's revealed. All of a sudden, this gal shows up. She's like infused in the walls, tall chick, the gold leader from Guardians of the Galaxy 2. She shows up and she's like, hey, what are you doing on here, British chick? She's like, what are you talking about? Yeah, you were down there with your family, your kids. What? Yeah, you have kids in my time. And now that's your paradox here. What's British chick gonna do? Is she gonna want to stay in this time? Have the chance to be with her kids? Or go to the correct timeline for her and attempt to avoid World War III because they could have this clean energy thing. What does she do? Well, that's not the weirdest stuff going aboard. Bridesmaid dude is fiddling around with something and gets his arm stuck in the wall and it comes off. He's totally not in pain or anything, and they find his arm later, and it's what? Thing? Is it Thing or Cousin It? Is it Thing in Addams Family, the hand? That's what it's doing. That's the gag they're going with here. And I don't know how this thing knows, but it can find like another fuel cell or whatever inside this guy's body who died. He is full of worms. All the worms disappeared and went into him or some crap. It's going off the rails is what it's doing, guys. And it's so slow. This movie's about an hour 45 minutes. We spend way too much time on Earth. We gotta deal with husband. Okay, so he's in the correct timeline, right? And now there's Cloverfield monsters all over the place. We don't hardly see them. He rolls up to like a children's hospital, finds a girl screaming, picks her up, kidnaps her, but says he's gonna take her to her parents, goes to the safe house. Or I'm sorry, he's a doomsday prepper. It's like the one time in a movie a doomsday prepper isn't written off as crazy by everybody else, I guess. So anyhow, amid all that nonsense, we have more chaos going around on the ship. You know, people are dying. Zhongzi drowns and gets blown into space. They're struggling to get this device working again for some reason, even though they had it working once. And then Tall Chick turns against them. You know, in her time, different people are aboard the ship than everybody else, and she starts trying to kill them off. Shoots the doctor, shoots the German guy, though he ends up living. Gets into a fight with British chick, who had plans to just go to this time. They had the clean energy. They were going to fix this timeline that they shouldn't have been in. But nope, she wants to do the right thing. Forget going to her family. She's going to save the world. Anyways, they get into a bit of a fight. British chick gets the upper hand. Tall chick gets sucked out through a hole. Not completely unlike Alien Resurrection. And then she brings some aid to the German guy who got shot by a gun that was 3D printed. You know, what sense does that make? How do you print a gun in one piece? You don't. Is it a pellet gun, a BB gun that shoots like a plastic nail? Is that the idea? Oh, jeez. Anyways, it's dumb. They go back to Earth through the escape pod, and I guess the place is going down, or they have the information they need, and they're sending it through the other way to try to fix the other timeline too, I guess. That was some intention. And as they're going down into the atmosphere, they either go by or land or crash into a Cloverfield monster. I don't hear a crash, I don't see anything. These things are really huge. I mean, they're like above the clouds. I mean, I was under the impression they were big. What, in the original Cloverfield, did they just have a small one? Comparatively? Like, what is this? You know, I think that there's really two things working against this movie the most. One, it's not found footage. That was the appeal of the original Cloverfield. That was what brought back the found footage. You know, I realized we had Blair Witch, but some time goes by, and then boom, Cloverfield, big deal. It's also not a giant monster movie. You need the giant monsters in your Cloverfield and your found footage to retain the idea of this is what a Cloverfield movie is. So it doesn't have either of those working for it. So what are you left with? Well, Poor Man's Sunshine, where people start turning against each other on the ship, and Event Horizon, where the ship goes to hell, now it's haunted, and that's kind of what you got here. A bunch of nonsense that doesn't really add up, because frankly, if a guy's arm comes off, I don't care if it's in another dimension or not, it shouldn't be allowed to operate, like it has a brain of its own. And how did it know that there was a device in the dead guy? It's stupid. So yeah, the more you think about this movie, the more you're going to hate it. I give the Cloverfield Paradox 2 out of 4 stars. Really, it doesn't look as terrible as it could have. And I do like the paradox of the British chick deciding on whether or not she saves her kids or the world. But yeah, what do you really get out of it? At least it's fairly short. 2 out of 4 stars. Okay guys, this was I shoot these all in in one go during the week, and they're not all uploaded together. So here's what I've got for you. 1.7 miles in 32 minutes 40 seconds. 1.97 miles. We're gonna round that up to 2 miles. So for this set of jog vlogs, I ran 2 miles. I have about 2,500 subscribers, so my plan here, donate $1 to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital for every mile I run for every 1,000 YouTube subscribers. So hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, tell your friends this is going down.